There we go. There we go. Hey, coming up today on today's show, we got your roadmap out of the cozy. Oh, yeah, baby. Out of the cozy, predictable routine and straight all the way into the adventure zone. Hey, have you ever wondered if men really are getting penile fillers? Yeah, you heard me. I said it first thing in the morning here. Penile fillers. Spoiler alert. Yeah, they are. Yeah, it's actually a thing. Guys want bigger junk. Yes. It's actually a thing. We're also going to dig into Jeff Bezos' secret sauce for discovering the hidden strengths. And no, it's really not about having $1 trillion. You got to start with $1 million before you get to $1 trillion. Plus, find out what foods you're innocently snacking on that could be secretly weakening your bones, baby, and all that, and the ultimate core workout guide to staying strong and defined after 35. You don't want to miss this episode today. Hey guys, coming up, before we dive in, smash the like button, subscribe to the channel, and drop your comments below. And quick reminder, children, this show is proudly an R-rated experience, so if you got your parents that are offended by language that you like, well, tell the kids to put the headphones on and tell the parents to put the headphones. Somebody's got to leave the room. Somebody's got to be the parent, because there's no parents here in the lab this morning. Just a few dudes giving out information and advice from our experiences in life. And listen, guys, don't hit the snooze button. You hit that snooze button, you're going to be 9 minutes behind. Most people do it twice. You do it twice, you're 20 minutes behind the guy over there. You do that all year. You are a week behind the guy who's getting up when it's time to get up. So listen, consider us this morning and every morning at 8 o'clock Eastern time, your accountability partner, starting your day with laughs, insights, and the occasional inappropriate joke along the way. Listen, this morning, our boy John Anderson is out traversing the countryside of California. Instead, and always, I got the boy wonder, see Marty Fit, Christopher Martin hanging out with me here this morning. Of course, we got producer Jimmy on the buttons. We got Melissa behind the scenes. We got Jorie Jensen joining us. Later on in the show, we're talking protein break, we're talking sweets, we're talking food, we're talking all the things that might cause you issues in life when it comes to protein and so forth. Good morning, Noah. I see you there in the comments. Thanks for dropping by. Mornings Alive with Keith and friends. Where are you joining us from, Noah, this morning? Love to hear where you're joining us from. And if you haven't already, I invite you to subscribe to this channel. This is a morning show for men. We're all about helping you guys get up and achieve those big, audacious goals. Listen, guys, we are going to get into some big conversations this morning. Of course, we're talking penile fillers. Yeah, guys who decide to go and get fillers loaded up in the junk. It's apparently a thing. Before we get to that, what's shaking, nation? What's shaking, Jimmy? How is everybody this morning? Man, it is a weekend. We're into a new loop, as Johnny likes to call it here. And we got another 5 days. I got a busy week coming up ahead of me here. I got kids' activities, business building, and hey, admittedly, a little puzzled. Yeah, listen, I think this show is all about being vulnerable, being honest, and just offering up wisdom of life along the way. And I got to tell you guys, a little bit puzzled this morning. Dropped a video yesterday on the channel and looking at the data and puzzled as to why it is performing as good as it could be. Good morning, Holroyd. Good to see you here. I can't imagine. Yeah, man, I can't imagine penile fillers either. I can't imagine it's a pleasant experience. I can't imagine what it's like knowing you're going in. First of all, Holroyd, I can't even imagine what it's like thinking you go get a needle in your junk, in your penis, to go get the freezing done to start with, right? So that whole thing. Listen, I don't even like going to the dentist and getting a needle put in my mouth to get my freezing done. I can't imagine having a needle shot into my penis to get some penile fillers done. That is not a pleasant experience, I can imagine. But as I was saying, we dropped a video this weekend on the channel, and just when you think you're going in the right direction, yeah, you get to the road and it curves. You're like, oh, I thought the road was going in that direction, not in that direction. So now, good morning, Reinhard. Good to see you there this morning. Amy, I'd like to see you in the comments. Thanks for joining us this morning on Mornings Live with Keith and friends. Johnny is away today. Internet challenges in his road trip. I get the text last night. It's like, brother. I'm like, yeah. It's exactly how he says to you, brother. Yeah. It's like, this Wi-Fi in these little bebop hotel motels probably are not going to support our experience. And I was like, all right, not surprising. All good. Enjoy your experience with Terry in the countryside. But as I was saying, we dropped the video yesterday, and the video yesterday was a culmination. There's the word, a culmination of last week's episodes. and packaged it all up and dropped it over on the channel, and then watched the stats and watched the reaction and watched the results from Business Athlete Mornings in the Lab Nation, and then pondered. I was like, oh, did you guys like that shit? What's going on? Why did you guys like that stuff? So I came back and changed the thumbnail again, and changed the thumbnail again. And there's one thing I can tell you guys. There's one thing I've learned about this whole YouTube, modern media, social media experience, is you can have the greatest content ever. If your thumbnail and your title sucks, you got nothing. And I'm telling you guys, I think that is the most overlooked. I'm looking for the word. The most overlooked variable when it comes to creating content on YouTube and on the social channels in today's world. That hook, that title, that thumbnail draws everyone in. So it's so we keep testing. I'm looking at my data. As I said to Jimmy this morning, producer Jimmy, we're on the 5th thumbnail. So I drop it, I watch, I test, and I look for the reaction. And then if it ain't working, I sit down with my old GPTer. They say, hey, make a test, make a change. So that's what we do. We make a change as much as we can. All right, listen, let's keep rocking and rolling here. Let's get into some of the morning topics for the morning loop. The unpredictable first 15 minutes of your morning with conversation and content that you're not getting anywhere else, guys. You're just not getting anywhere else. Here's one thing we've talked about before. We're going to get into it again. Time. Time is that one S that you can't buy back. And when you think about how billionaires kick off your day, do you ever wonder that? How does the billionaire or the trillionaire start their day? You might imagine elaborate rituals. 4 a.m., 3 a.m., the hot tub, the cold tub, these ridiculous situations they do in the morning. Speaking of ridiculous, you guys following the news about that longevity dude, Brian Johnson? Yeah. You know, this shit makes me laugh, man. For the longest time, we see all this media, all this coverage of this human doing crazy things. And then over time, the walls crack, the books crack, the secrets crack. And apparently, yeah, I'm good. There's the key word when you're in the media business, apparently. Because when you use apparently or alleged, you're not actually holding anybody to anything. You're just saying apparently or allegedly. Yeah, anecdotally, there's a reason we're talking about this. But anyways, this Brian Johnson fellow, the guy who's trying to live the longest life and talking about his biological youthful age, and all under the auspices of selling his Blueprint product. Well, anyways, apparently all the NDAs that he gets everybody to sign are starting to crack. And what does that mean? Well, that means that many of the secrets that he has been perpetuating inside of Blueprint and perpetuating inside of his narrative are starting to come to light. And there might not be as much truth behind the blueprint to longevity as this fellow is putting out there. So this stuff fascinates me, but I just get back to our morning routine situation. We got Mark Cuban. Yep, Mark Cuban. It just seems to me that we talk about Cuban, we talk about Bezos, we talk about these important entrepreneurs on the show quite often, but Cuban, who's one of the most successful entrepreneurs of our time, keeps his morning routine refreshingly simple. His approach, Jimmy, isn't about doing more. It's doing what matters most. Now, listen, I'm going to grab a sip of my coffee. We're going to have a little bit of a pause, and then we're going to keep it rolling here. But Cuban's morning, wakes up around 6:30 or 7. He doesn't wake up at 4 or 5 because he's got the private jet, so we can get on the plane for that extra hour when old Uncle Keith and old Marty are getting their ass up out of bed early. But Cuban wakes up around 6:37, spends the first hour of his day responding to emails, all from the comfort of his bed. Yeah, just rolls over, picks up the phone, and just bangs out the olds. Not the morning wood. No, the morning email. Yeah, I'm sure that's what it is. He keeps his communication short, direct, and efficient, and he avoids unnecessary meetings or long-winded calls. Why? Well, Cuban understands that time is his most valuable asset. As he says, the whole value of being in his position is being able to control your time. That's one thing I've learned. Is that time is that asset you can't buy, which is like I've said before to the boys. My goal here is to buy an airplane so I can buy time, so I can take my dogs with me. I want to travel with my dogs. After that, Cuban gets up, grabs his breakfast, workout, and then more time spent addressing emails. His mornings are about consistency and setting the tone for the day. Yeah, forget the 4 a.m. myth, you guys. We've all heard it. Successful people, they wake up at 4, grind before the rest of the world's awake. But here's the reality. Cuban isn't on the train. His value is sleep, getting a solid 7 hours. that sleep science backs them up. And the key isn't waking up early, guys. It's waking up rested and ready. So you got other guys like Tim Cook or Indra Nooyama swear by their early alarms, but most CEOs start their days closer to 7. So I encourage you, I invite you, try the Mark Cuban morning blueprint. Start with focused organization. He tackle those emails that are first to clear his mind and get ahead. This might just mean addressing something right off the bat. You address it, done, it's out of the way, boom, get after it. So, hey, I invite you right now this morning. If you got something on your plate that you're procrastinating on, maybe the first thing you can do is get after it right now. Stay consistent, follow that same routine daily, and then prioritize that rest. The takeaway, guys, it's not about adding complexity. It's about simplifying and doing what is most important. And as Cuban always says, time's the one asset you can't buy back. Hey, Jimmy, we got Marty there. I think we got Marty hanging out in the room there. What's up, Marty?
What's up, baby? I didn't know you were by yourself today, baby.
Hey, baby, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
That's all right. That sounds good. To give you a little bit of a surprise. Oh, I'm good. I'm great, man. Just getting after it here today. Having a good Monday of the loop. I'm excited about the week ahead of me. Got a busy week ahead of me. How are you? How was your weekend?
I'm good, man. I think you got a little lag over there, man.
Oh, do I have a little bit of lag? Jimmy, do I have a lag? I don't think I have a lag.
Okay, now you good now. You good. You kind of responded kind of weird.
How was your weekend, Mr. Christopher Martin?
It was pretty good, man. It was chill. I didn't really do much.
No, well, that's okay. That's okay. What was the much part of the weekend?
Honestly, man, I did a lot of fucking editing.
Yeah.
I had sports massage because I got my race this weekend.
Yeah.
So I kind of just been taking it easy because I got a long week this week as far as like work and business.
Yeah.
So I kind of just wanted to have a fresh start and go into the race, kill it, and now I get back to the bullshit after the race.
Nice. Yes, you have your High Rocks coming up this weekend, don't you?
Yeah, man.
You excited about that?
I can't fucking wait.
Yeah. So tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah. So it's similar to a Spartan race.
Yeah.
There's going to be different obstacles, courses, or I guess exercise you can say.
Yeah. With
a run in between. I believe the run is 0.3 kilometers.
Okay.
So you go row machine 1,000 meters, 0.3 kilometers. You go burpee frog jumps, 0.3 kilometers. You got 1,000 meters on the ski machine, 0.3 kilometers. It's like 8 exercises, and I have a partner too, so we can split some stuff up.
Wow, that's
fun. Man.
You looking forward to it?
Fun. I can't fucking wait.
Yeah. Man, that's a lot of fun. So High Rocks is I believe it's rapidly replacing or filling in the gap that CrossFit
yeah.
Am I correct?
So CrossFit is great. A lot of people love it. A lot of people stick with it. There's some truth, but then they say it's a myth. I'm just repeating the information. I'm not giving an opinion or anything. Yeah. But they say CrossFit leads to a lot more injuries, and it's not as functional as the movements in the High Rocks, right? So the movements in the High Rocks, you're doing more stuff like an athlete, like a pro athlete would do,
Yeah. Well, and there has been some controversy around the CrossFit brand. Am I not right?
Absolutely.
Go ahead. Didn't somebody die or something, or didn't somebody or the CEO, like there was something happening behind the scenes with the CrossFit brand that caused some distress. Am I correct?
I don't know about that one, but I do know that a lot of people, they feel like it's like a cult too.
Yeah.
Not giving my opinion, just repeating what was said.
Yeah.
So a lot of people have been getting away from it. But if you go on Netflix and watch those CrossFit athletes, man, you watch some of those documentaries.
Yes.
Oh my gosh, spectacular. Very, very motivating too. So
100%. Yeah. 100%.
Yeah, I'm a fan.
And High Rocks was like CrossFit was started by somebody, right? And it's become like a private training, gym thing, right? Yeah, is that correct?
People do train for it. People do high rock specific training.
Yeah.
But I mean, you could walk in there with zero training, and not do it. So did you see my story yesterday?
I did not. No, I did not see it.
Look at my story. I got some of my training clips on there.
Oh, I will check it out. Absolutely.
Farmer's Walk. We talk about that all the time too.
Yeah. There you go. Hey, Jimmy, before we get to the accountability check, I got a question for you and Marty. Would you ever consider getting filler injections? Down there. Today, we're going to dive into the growth. Yeah, I figured that was going to be a response. Today, diving into the growing trend of men turning to non-surgical penile filler for enhancement.
What?
Yeah. Men are exploring this procedure more than ever, and I want to take a few moments and discover why. And Marty, it's not just about aesthetics. Jimmy, apparently men are doing this for enhanced confidence, improved sexual experience, and even reduced anxiety. Here's the full scoop. This procedure involves injecting. Yeah, Marty, injecting. FDA-approved fillers now. So you see fillers on people's faces, and their faces all fucking capitulate. So now we're going to take a filler with hyaluronic acid, and we're going to shoot that injection beneath the skin of the penis to increase the girth by about 10 to 20%, or, Marty, around 1 to 2 centimeters. It's quick. It's lasting about an hour under local anesthesia, and the effects last about 6 months to 2 years. Jimmy, men also report reduced sensitivity and increased satisfaction. So the customization and reversibility are key advantages. The filler can be tailored specifically to the individual's anatomy, creating natural results. And importantly, Marty, it's reversible. So if you're not happy with having a thick dick and you want a thin penis, you can just go back and have it taken out or have the filler come out and you're going to be good. There you go.
Yeah, that just shows how insecure men really can be, you know?
Yeah.
It's kind of sad.
So I wonder, I'm thinking about this right now, that as I'm having this conversation with you, I've done a little bit of research where, we have females who go in for vagina reconstruction, right? Or labia reconstruction.
I never even heard of that either.
Yeah. And again, it's an insecurity thing. They'll have babies or get older and they're not comfortable with how it's looking down there. So they're like, hey,
the roast beef.
Yeah. Right. I wasn't thinking that word.
Hope we don't have any ladies on the show. Oh, hey, it looks like Amy's here. Sorry.
Amy Reinhardt's there. But I think what it emphasizes, whether you're going for penile filler or vaginal reconstruction, I don't want to sit here and make judgment because that's not what I'm about. But to your point, I guess what it is, Marty, it's unfortunate that we as humans feel that is part of our actually, no, maybe it's not unfortunate. Maybe that's just what we need, right? If the penile filler or the vaginal reconstruction helps boost self-esteem, that's where it's at. The reality is men, have issues when it comes to the girth, the size of their penises, and penile fillers are growing in popularity along the way. I see.
See what Jimmy said.
Yeah. And then listen, guys, if you're thinking about this, and I'm not suggesting that you are, if you are thinking about it, obviously consult a professional. Second, address the psychological why. And I think this is what Marty brings up, right? Which is why? Why? Is it just because you are going to go find yourself an Instagram model and go and be promiscuous along the way? Or is there a real reason along the way?
Yeah. Nah, I'm with you, man. And it's there's got to be other fulfilling things in life. Like, why is that the fulfillment? Like,
yes.
And I'm sure these people have other things to be proud of in their life, to be thankful for. But I mean, really, that?
Yeah.
I don't know. That's just me. That's just my take on it.
Well, so what's interesting what your take on it, because I feel like I share the similar one, is that unlike our facial appearance, where you see somebody all the time, you're getting filler, you're getting plastic, you're getting Botox, and your facial appearance is you're out in front of somebody, it's 24/7. Whereas your penis is in your pants all the time. So largely only you are seeing it, or only your partner is seeing it, or using it. So to your point, it is unfortunate that as we've learned, for the 8 minutes that you want to use it, or if it's going to be 8 minutes, we feel the need to go and have a needle.
It must be bad for some people, man. It must be really bad. So
if that's the reason they're going after it.
Yeah, it must be really bad. Maybe they had a traumatizing experience.
Yeah, I don't. Could be.
That's just trying to justify it. Well, but other than that, I don't understand it at all.
Jimmy. Hey Jimmy, I'm just looking for the accountability check. I don't have it in my notes here for some reason. It's going to be like gaming. It's going to take longer to do the penile fill than it's going to be to get the business done after.
Oh my god.
Yeah, exactly.
Spend all that money for less time probably.
That's it. Hey, this is not your generation, my generation, but did you know that gasoline fueling our cars, Marty? I found this one shocking, man. Shocking new research reveals how leaded gasoline exposure over the years could be behind millions of psychiatric disorders, particularly impacting my generation. So apparently, there's this there's this legacy happening. Listen. So let me back it up. A recent landmark study in the Journal of Child Psychology and Psychiatry estimates that over the past 75 years, 151 million psychiatric disorders in America may be linked to lead exposure. And Gen X, born between 65 and 80, faced peak levels of exposure during their developmental years, leading to higher rates of anxiety, depression, and ADHD. The ban on leaded gasoline started in 96. But its effects today. Apparently, Marty, this study is saying that with all the leaded gasoline that was pumped out of the pumps there back in the olden days, quote unquote, it's affecting a lot of folks in their heads today, and it's still traipsing its way through society from that leaded gasoline situation that we had. You didn't grow up with that shit.
I didn't grow up with that. Yeah, I never even. Honestly, it's my first time hearing of leaded gasoline.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
This is my first time hearing of it. So, I wouldn't be surprised because, I think now, everybody blames stuff on the cell phones, right? The blue light stuff. So I even saw a video yesterday where this guy was like, you know why you can't lose weight? Because you're scrolling on your phone too much blue light exposure. And I'm like, oh, God. But I'm thinking that's probably our modern day thing. It's probably the same thing for you all back then.
You know what, brother? It's funny to hear you say that because we, as I'm putting the show together over the last year, as I look for content and conversation, I know why folks are always looking for the golden pill. It's either the blue light or it's this or that reason, because to be successful is so boring, right? You just got to eat whole foods. You got to get to bed on time. You got to just do all the normal things. When we don't have success, we're looking for blame. It's blue light. It's this. It's always a fucking reason why somebody's not. There's always a reason. Like always.
Yeah. But I don't know. I think that blue light that thing is ridiculous. Now the leaded gasoline, that might actually be. I got to do some research on it. Like I said, it's my first time hearing of it, but that actually might be legit. Is it y'all were inhaling it, or what is the? I'm lost here.
There's something killing us along the way. There's always something killing us along the way. All right, Jimmy, let's do the accountability check, and then we're going to come back, keep the show rolling.
Let's get it.
All right, listen, boys. I used to be a slave to comfort. And here's what changed. I sold the company, grinding through the earnout period, chasing that big $50 million payout, cashing checks, hitting numbers, without even trying. Busy? Yeah, it was pretty busy. But you know what, guys? It wasn't no fulfillment. Not fulfilled at all. Efficient, but not excellent. Existing, but not thriving. The worst part, I didn't even see it happening. Then one day, the OG, the old double G, my business partner called me out and says, Keith, if we just want to keep having those mediocre results, then we must just keep doing what we're doing. It's funny, I had this conversation with Carl yesterday. It's like, dude, I think you have another gear. He's like, oh. It was like a poke. It was like a prod. It was like, you're right. You are right. I was letting good enough become my standard. You know what I'm talking about? Get up today, Open up your to-do list, just get after it. And then the day's done. You're like, oh, I got my shit done. And then the next day, you say to yourself, I'm going to do it again. But then you get the same results and you start accepting mediocrity. So I made a change after that conversation. That next day, guys, I threw my to-do list in the garbage and I focused my energy and my strategy and every task on my list to one thing, the one thing that mattered. Only one thing, driving revenue. Suddenly, I wasn't playing it safe anymore. I found another gear. I was obsessed. It's like I'm obsessed with this show right now. Just tweaking lever after lever, trying to find data here, trying to find data there. The biggest lesson I learned from that experience, you guys, the great results today, they aren't good enough for tomorrow. No, because tomorrow is a new day. There's somebody out there right now who didn't hit snooze, got up before you. There's somebody out right now that get in their race car and tweak their lug nuts a little more than you, and they're ahead of you. They are. Somebody got up yesterday, realizing they were being mediocre, and said, oh, I'm going to get after it. So I invite you to consider this. Life's too short to settle. If I'm not moving forward, I got no momentum, I got no movement, I'm dying. I'll take that comfort. I'll take the discomfort over mediocrity any day. Mediocrity, guys, is a slow death. Trying and failing, fail fast, succeed fast. Mediocrity, slow, meandering death. So get up, get after, don't hit the snooze button, and go out and hit those big audacious goals this morning on Mornings in the Lab with Keith and friends. All right, let's bring Marty back in here. Hey, Marty, have you ever wondered what hidden strengths might be lying dormant within you, just waiting to propel you towards your greatest achievements? I bet you lay there sometimes and ask yourself, what hidden strengths do you have? Do you ever ask yourself that? Or do you know, have you revealed them? Or do you sit back and say, geez, I'm pretty damn good at this. I just haven't found a way to pull it out yet.
Oh yeah, all the time. I mean, that's kind of like the game of life. You're always trying to improve and make this better and discover this about yourself and find out who you are. Can I go deeper with this? That's just part of life. It's so part of being a man.
And discovering your hidden strengths, Marty, isn't just empowering, it's transformational. And frankly, look at you, you're doing it this weekend at your High Rocks, right? Oh, yeah. You're like, I'm going to try some new stuff here. And when you look at not only your professional career, your personal life, finding these hidden strengths can elevate your career, your relationships, and overall sense of purpose, unlocking potential you never knew existed. Now, Marty, we talk about Cuban, we talk about Bezos often on this show, and Bezos, the founder of Amazon, champions uncovering hidden strengths through targeted self-reflection. He emphasizes that your passions choose you. It's not the other way around. And some scientific studies have backed him up, showing that individuals who harness their natural curiosities experience sustained motivation and success. If you think about it, long-term thinking is another cornerstone of Bezos' philosophy, advising focusing on timeless skills and knowledge that remain relevant despite changing trends. And that's what got me about this one, Marty, is that we wake up and every single day we're being pulled into a direction of a trend or something that is that might move you in a viral trend or a viral moment. Yet, these timeless skills are what actually moves us forward. What hidden strength have you found in your repertoire here in the last few years that you have started to slowly embrace?
That's a great question.
Yeah.
I'll just name a few. I'm sure I'll probably miss.
Yeah.
But my definitely my positivity. I think a lot of people, I have a great tendency to, when I'm down, when something rough happens, I can just talk myself out of it, talk myself into a positive state. And even like a while back, this girl I was dating, she was going through some stuff. So I started, speaking positively to her, and she was like, "You just can't be positive about everything all the time." I was like, "Oh yes, you can.
I think you can.
I'm pretty sure you can." So. That didn't work out, but I think that's definitely a strength of mine, and people love it. I have friends that love it. my clients definitely love it. You know, I have a great way of getting them back into positivity. So that's probably the only one I could think of right now.
I'd say for me, Marty, I've talked about this before in the show, is a new strength that I discovered in my life. And I will admit, you know, as a schmuck, as a male schmuck, it took me a long time to get here. I didn't really know what empathy was for the longest time. I was not an empathetic human being. And until I learned the power of empathy and the power of what that was going to do for me as a leader, or within friendships, or the relationships, or leadership, I really struggled with empathy. I had to learn. I will admit late in life, I learned through therapy that it was important for me to be able to put myself in your shoes and try to understand what you were feeling, so that I could reciprocate, or so that I could lean into that.
Absolutely. Yeah, you got, as a leader, you have to be empathetic.
100%.
You manage.
Yes.
Yeah, you're managing different personalities. You know, everybody's not the same. You can't coach everyone the same. So I absolutely agree with that.
Yeah, and it was one thing that I would say as I went through my old life, just through through divorce and all of that, that it wasn't a strong trait of mine. Admittedly, it wasn't. Right? It was balls to the wall. It was lacking empathy. It was having grace, but had grace with judgment. It was when I learned that superpower of empathy, when I learned that superpower of, and I would say I was always a kind soul, but I struggled with I would look at you like, what do you mean? I don't really understand. What do you mean you're feeling that way? So, and it was a lot of discussions with therapists to wrap my head around this. Well, no, put yourself in Marty's shoes. Put yourself in his shoes and try to recognize what he might be feeling right now. Oh, okay, I see. And then once I discovered that, I was like, oh, okay, this is a superpower. And then as a leader, you learn how to press those buttons.
Yeah, I mean, not to get off topic, but on the flip side, when you become empathetic, you learn the times you don't need to be empathetic, right?
Yes.
So you'll learn, somebody might be calling for empathy, but it's like, hey, now I got to give you tough love right now. Now isn't the time to be empathetic. So yeah, that's another skill that comes with being empathetic.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Okay, listen, let's get to the fit tip of the day here. And then let's lean into a little bit about breaking free from comfort zones as we keep the show rock and rolling this morning on Morning Lab with Keith and Friends. Marty's got a fit tip for you guys. Christopher Martin.
Let's get it. All right, we got the fitness tip for today. Now, I know you guys aren't going to want to hear this, but I got to be real with you. There's no such thing as a cheat day, and there's no such thing as a cheat weekend. The term is cheat meal, but somehow that turned into cheat day and turned into cheat weekend. Not sure how that happened. But let's do some simple math. If you take more than one shot, right? If you're drinking alcohol, which a lot of people do, hey, have your fun. Understand, when you get in the 5 shots, 6 shots range, 7 shots, a lot of shots are 100 calories per shot. So understand that you're taking 500, 600, 700, 800, 900, 1,000, some of y'all, calories empty calories just from alcohol. You're not getting any nutritional benefit, no protein, no macronutrients, no micronutrients, right? That can throw off your whole week of workouts. And more than likely when you're doing that, you're probably eating some shitty food too. You're probably not eating clean. You're probably not getting a salad with that. So understand that one piss poor day can throw off your whole week. And if you do that for a month, you do that for 2 months, 3 months, 4 months, 5 months, you sitting there wondering why you don't have any results. Well, maybe that's why. Now, I'm not telling you not to ever enjoy yourself. I'm not telling you not to ever live your life. But keep that in mind before you just go balls to the wall on your weekends. And the same can apply to all you can eat cookouts, buffets, getting a box of 8 crumble cookies, right? 1 crumble cookie, 800 calories. You eat 4 of those, that's 3,200 calories. So understand that as you go through this journey, right? again, like I said, I don't expect anyone to just not ever do anything, not have any sweets, not have any alcohol, not enjoy time with your family and your loved ones. But remember, the goal is still the goal. Don't throw yourself off. That's the fitness tip for today.
There's your. I always love when Marty drops the crumbles cookies in the fit tip.
I love talking about crumble cookie. I don't know why. I love it.
You don't even like them, yet you like talking about them.
Yeah, I don't like crumble cookie, but I do have places that I like.
Because they're too sweet, Marty says. They're too sweet.
They are too sweet, man. It's too sweet for me, man.
Oh man, we ran a discussion, like conversation last week, the week before. All it takes, Marty, is 5 days of bad choices.
Yes,
and your body's off in the wrong direction. Like 5 days, and the insulin response, your psychological response, your body's like, oh, I guess I'm on the road to being fat now. And you probably will go on vacation for a week. So here's what's funny, right? Hey, Marty, I want to come and get a 6-pack. Okay. Yeah. I come get a 6-pack on Friday because I'm going to Vegas for the weekend. Or no, I'm going to Vegas for the week or going to Mexico for the week. And then a week later, I'm officially fat.
Yeah, it's crazy how the body works, man.
It's just the machine of the body, right?
It's crazy. You can just ruin your results in a whole, but yeah, you can ruin your results in a whole week. But then people will say, well, that's why I just don't work out at all, because I can just ruin it. Yeah, sure. All right.
Because that is the better decision. That's the better decision.
Yeah, exactly. Right.
Hey, have you ever felt trapped by your comfort zone? Because I certainly did. In today's deep dive, I want to get into how I broke free from my comfort zone and why I think you should too. So for years, I thrived in environments I knew well. Successful businesses, ventures, familiar routines, predictable outcomes. Marty, life was good, but it was also incredibly safe. Deep down, I knew I wasn't growing the way I needed to. And my turning point came when I decided to embrace uncertainty. And admittedly, it happened as I was going through growing the business, and it happened as I went through my 40s. And it started by joining unfamiliar conversations, becoming even more curious, experimenting with not penile fillers, but new business ideas, or simply saying yes to things that I wouldn't say no.
There was no need to say that.
or simply saying yes to things that I would typically shy away from. And I'll tell you, that's one thing that I really have enjoyed about getting older is you recognize the power of saying yes and the power of being curious. And these incremental steps, they built up my courage, and they revealed something surprising, that I enjoyed the discomfort. Especially when you start recognizing that, discomfort is not going to lead you to death. It's going to lead you to something you're not comfortable with. And that's why I run, Marty. That's why I do crazy things, because it's all up in your head, right? And then I took it further. I began exploring the world through my camera lens, did a bunch of travel. I ventured to places I'd never imagined. I trekked oceans. I spent time in shark cages and so forth. And then every adventure tested my limits physically and then mentally. And then each experience, it redefined what I thought possible. And what it did for me is it broke me free from my comfort zone. It just didn't change what I did. It transformed who I was. And I'll tell you that as I went through my life change over the last 10 years, it invited me to realize that my vulnerability by accepting new things wasn't a weakness. It was really a pathway to deeper connections with curiosity, deeper connections through experience, deeper connections through personal growth. So I've referenced this with you in the past many times as you exited your NCAA career, became a personal trainer and so forth. Would you say this High Rocks event you're going into is something where you are very much stepping out of your comfort zone?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And why? What prompted this reason to do it? And let's lean into the power of breaking free from your comfort zone and why you would encourage somebody else to do the same thing.
Yeah. So coming from an athletic background, right? I grew up competing against other athletes. When you hit the real world, your competition becomes different. Me, I thrive off of having competition. So what's my competition, right? You got other trainers. As a general manager, I got to compete against the other gyms in our franchise, right? My fitness podcast. I'm trying to be I always say we got the best fitness podcast out.
Yeah.
My competition is different, right? and it's I do live an active lifestyle, but I'm not competing against other humans. I'm not trying to kick someone's ass. I'm trying to kick my ass.
Yeah.
So the high rock is going to allow me to bring that inner athlete back out.
Yeah.
Right. And it's not what I'm used to. It's not a basketball court. Right. It's all types of other shit that I'm not used to doing, that I don't do on my daily training. So it's going to get me out of my comfort zone, but it's also going to bring back that competitive spirit physically. So that kind of is what made me want to do it.
What had you been thinking about this for a while? Was there a moment? Was there an aha moment? And I ask this, Marty, because I the way people make decisions is creates curiosity for me. Whether somebody is in a moment that's going there, I'm just fucking doing it, or whether it's been a long, and it was on my bucket list. Like, how did you arrive at this decision? Was somebody challenging you, debating you? Was it literally your own mirror one morning where you're like, you know what, I need to do something different to push myself out of my zone?
You know, when you take a glance at things and it just gives you that feeling.
Yes.
You get that feeling in your chest, like, let's fucking go.
Yes. You know? Yeah.
Right. And it that's the first part. And the second part is when you prepare for something like that, it could be a speech, it could be a competition, it could be whatever. Something that's going to hold you accountable. So that's going to make me create a schedule that I have to hold myself accountable to. Right. So I got to get my runs in. I got to be stretching. I got to be foam rolling. I got to be hydrated. I can't be drinking alcohol. I could hang with my friends. I ain't drinking with y'all though.
Yeah.
Right. I got to be eating clean. I can hang out with my friends. I'm not eating what y'all eat.
Yes.
Right. So anything that's going to hold you to a certain standard, it's only going to make you become better. So I like to do something like this at least once a year.
Yeah, at least once a year. I like that because you're saying one time a year, I'm pushing myself out of my comfort zone. You know, I know the way you live your lifestyle is largely always pushing yourself out of your zone. But one time a year, you're like, nah, I'm going to go do something even, bigger and more, incremental.
Yeah. And I don't know if you heard of Inky Johnson. He's a motivational speaker.
Yeah.
Oh, you know Inky Johnson.
Yeah.
And he always says this line. He said it. I've heard him say it a million times, but it always hits me. He says, it's not about what you get. It's about who you become. Right. So that process, you had to think about it.
I was processing it. Yeah, that's very good.
So the process of me preparing for this race is making me become a better man, physically, mentally, spiritually. So
yes. Yeah. So I got somebody. I brought a story to this one here who woke up one day and himself had to look to get out of his comfort zone. And I found a story here, Marty. A fellow named where's his name? Hunter Hughes. He went from 330 pounds to Spartan races, right? This guy wakes up 330 pounds, living on fast food and video games, and thought running was for real athletes. Now this guy's dropping 185-pound pull-ups and conquering Spartan races. And Marty, it all started with an invite. And Jimmy, here's the hook. It all started with an invite. This guy, it wasn't just some big intervention. His dad, his brother, he simply said, why don't you come to the gym with us? And he's like, I don't know. And, there was no pressure. It was literally, why don't you come to the gym with us? No guilt trip. Just, hey, why don't you come to the gym with us? And the Hunter said, nah, you couldn't say no. 2 days later, he showed up. And Marty, he did small things. He started with small things. He just didn't jump straight into a marathon. You know those guys that come to you, Marty, I'm going to run a marathon next week. Really? He's like, no, I'm going to start small. He started with bodyweight exercises and 45-minute walks. No sprints, no heavy lifting, just the basics. What I like about this transformational story, Marty, is that it's so it's so readily available for anybody. He got up and started moving. And then over time, Marty, he added weightlifting. And then he started hiking stairs wearing a weighted vest. And then he got on the scale and it started moving. He was down 40 pounds. He looked in the mirror. He's like, oh, if I keep this up, I'm going to get a chance to run, because he wanted to run. Right? He started eating clean without perfection. He didn't crash diet. He kept it simple. Marty, you talk about all the time, the 80-20 principle. He's like, yeah, I'm going to eat 80% of my foods are going to be whole, clean, single ingredient foods. And from time to time, I'm going to have some indulgence, maybe 20% of the time. But he focused on chicken. He focused on turkey, eggs, veggies, and yes, the occasional ice cream along the way. Yeah, he tracked his meals and he tracked his workouts in a journal. And if he slipped, Marty, because we know we all slip, he got up and tried it again. And that's what he did. He just kept going. And along the way, he moved from walking to running because that was his goal. He wanted to run. He started running on the treadmill. He ran for a minute. He walked for 30 seconds. Repeat. Eventually, he hit the road. And then here's the game changer. He realized running isn't about speed. It's about showing up and pushing yourself. Then he went from weight loss to strength. I love this man. At 185 pounds, the guy starts at 330. He found that strength that he never thought he had was possible. Get this, man. He starts doing pull-ups. He starts doing handstands. And now he's doing Spartan races. He discovered along the way, Marty, what his body was truly capable of. And then let's be real. There's nothing like the feeling of owning your strength and being able to move your own body weight, right? So now this guy, he's sidelined with a hernia injury, but he's already planning his comeback. What I loved about this, Marty, and here's some final thoughts. His journey is proof that the transformation isn't about where you start, because we talk about breaking free from comfort zones. Dude, it's about showing up. It's about staying consistent and pushing past the hard days. Back to you, as you've been training for High Rocks. Every day hasn't been a fucking rainbow and unicorn. Every day hasn't been about pushing daisies and rolling gold. There were days you're going, fuck, I can't do this. Or man, this is going to be tough. But what'd you do? You showed up.
That's the key right there. Just show up.
Right?
Because you're not gonna show up and go home. Now, I have heard of people doing that, which I don't understand. If I pull up to the gym, park my car, let's get to work, man. We here. You know. So just show up.
Hold on a second. I got to rewind this. People show up to the gym and then go home?
Yep. I've heard of it. I've heard people tell me. I don't know why people tell me that, because I'm going to light their ass up after. But, yeah, man, people do it. If I'm going to the gym, I'm parking, at least I'm going for a walk. We're doing some push-ups, or at least. I'm going to do something, yeah.
Yeah, because I got all the effort to get out of bed, get myself changed, had a shower, drive to the gym. You got to do something just to get in the car and roll away. Yep. Doesn't seem like it's the right idea along the way there. So
yeah, man.
All right, so listen, let's do this. Since we don't have Marty here today, Jimmy, let's quickly do the creator spotlight. Let's do the LinkedIn. Let's do the LinkedIn.
You mean Jorie? Jorie's not here today?
No, Jorie's here. Johnny's not here. So
Johnny. Okay.
Johnny's lifestyle tips. So here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna do the LinkedIn creator spotlight right now. And then we're going to come back and bring Jorie in and have a conversation with myself, Marty, and Jorie. But Jimmy, before we do that, let's do the creator spotlight. And we'll get Marty off stage here. And we're going to do this here. And we're going to do this. Guys, the biggest mistake most leaders make, they chase tactics, not strategy, tactics. The next new trend, the quick wins. But here's the truth, you guys. That's how you stay stuck. Because leadership isn't about chasing. It's about evolving. It's about knowing how to turn complexity into clarity. It's about doing what matters, not just doing more. And that's exactly what the guy we're going to celebrate today has mastered. For over 30 years, this guy's led transformations across industries most leaders wouldn't dare touch. No, higher ed, ed tech, retail, banking, talent development, you name it. This guy's guided everyone from startups to global 100 companies through exits, acquisitions, and strategic growth. This guy's not just a leader, he's a builder, a visionary who knows how to turn chaos into results. And today, we're going to put a spotlight on him. This morning, Mornings in the Lab with Keith and Friends is happy, excited, and has all of the glory to celebrate. Jimmy, William J. Matthias Jr., an executive thought and transformation partner who's built his career on 3 words: learn, grow, evolve, always. Why is Mornings in the Lab supporting William J's mission? Because he's not about chasing clout or playing it safe. He's about real transformation, turning knowledge into action and action into lasting impact. On a day when we're talking about breaking free from comfort zones, William J is all about that mission. He's not interested in just about being heard. He's focused on building something that matters. So if you're tired of spinning your wheels and ready to build something real, pay attention to what William J. Mathers is doing. I invite you to follow him on LinkedIn, check out his content. And William, we want to have you on our show so we can celebrate you and celebrate somebody in your orbit that you think is doing awesome stuff in the creator spotlight in the community corner here on Mornings in the Lab with Keith and Friends. There you go, guys. There's William J. Matthias Jr. on the community corner creator spotlights. Mornings in the Lab. All right, Jimmy. Good morning, Obscure Ninja. I see you there in the comments. Jimmy, let's bring in our friend Jorie. She has been away for a few days. She was out rock and rolling, getting stuff done, traveling the countrysides of Canada, I believe. I'm eager to see what she has to say here today and see how she is as we continue getting after. We got a couple things I want to talk about Jorie with this morning. Let's see here. We're going to get to this here. Put that over there. And there we go. What's up, Jorie?
Oh, it's good.
What's up, Jorie?
Speaking this morning.
Yeah, just getting ready. We got back last night, so just quickly ran up since I had a moment to say bye to Ellery and back down here.
How was your week last week? How was your travels? You had a very active week.
Yeah, so all week was dance comps. It did really well, and then volleyball was a learning opportunity. I was actually super proud of how she carried herself this week in volleyball. Something happened to her during a game, and as a parent, I wanted to go out and do something, and I sat there and wanted to see what she would do, and she handled it like better than any adult I know. She's amazing. She's really, really cool. So it was a learning opportunity for me too, to be on the sidelines and watch her just be the awesome human that she is. She said, "Don't get me wrong, Mom. Internally, I wanted to fall apart, but I had to show up." So there you go.
So what I love about this conversation, Jorie, and I don't think us as humans or us as parents reflect upon this enough because we're in the middle of doing it. But when you make those statements to Marty and I, they're really reflective statements from the mirror of Kurt and Jorie. Because Ellery doesn't learn that herself. Like Ellery just doesn't wake up as what's Ellery, 15, 14?
She is 13.
13. She doesn't wake up, Marty, as a 13-year-old with that wisdom, like just knowing how to perform in the moment or learning how to accelerate in those situations. So, it's important for you to look in the mirror with pride to recognize that as she was achieving that, that's you and Kurt. Yes, it's Ellery, but those teachings come from you guys. And I think it's important in the sense that we need to remind ourselves that and hold our friendships and our colleagues accountable to that positive messaging. You know what I'm saying, Marty, when you hear that? And Jorie talks about that, and it's like, no, Jorie, it's actually, yes, it's Ellery, but it's you and Kurt who've instilled that in Ellery.
Yeah. Oh, can I go, Jorie?
Marty, go ahead.
Go. I'll take it in.
Yeah, Marty, go for it.
No, I was just going to say, the kids are a reflection of their parents.
Yeah.
She didn't just learn that from nowhere, so that's just great job, Jorie.
Well, I mean, and I'm sure everyone listening has had their time of when mental health was not awesome, and she had to go through that really young.
Yes.
And I think because of that, Kurt and I have grown a lot through that. And
yes.
She has as well, right? Like all the parents around me are like, Jorie, like that just happened. What do you think? And like, that seems unfair and unjust. And I said, oh, I agree with you, but we're going to, just let this play out and see. And all the parents saw her. They're like, oh, she just took a breath because she went on the court and she went.
Yeah.
And that allowed me to also sit on the sideline.
Yes.
And take a breath.
Yes.
After the game, we were in our hotel room and we had a chat. I said, Ellery, so is there anything you want to do about it? I said, because as the parent, I can't go in and do something. Yeah. You weren't being abused, yada, yada, yada. However, it does seem like there was no conversation to show why this was done. And she said, you know what, Mom? I think I'm going to let this one go because I have no idea why. There was no reasoning. But if it happens again, I will have a conversation.
Oh, there you go. Mm-hmm. There you go. That's taught though. That's not just, she doesn't wake up and just know that. That's what I find fascinating in these kind of things, because we're so quick to compliment the resilience of our children. when we completely forget that resilience was taught by ourselves as a parent.
Yeah. And internally, I was a mess. Let me be honest.
I'm sure you were. Yeah, I'm sure you were. Hey, are sugary drinks wrecking your heart? Let's talk about it. Guys, let's get real for a minute. A cookie here. Marty and I were talking about this on the show here. A crumble here. A cookie here, a slice of cake there. These occasional treats aren't the end of the world, but sugary drinks, now that's a different story. Jorie, Marty, I came across a study that really caught my attention. Researchers followed almost 70,000 people in Sweden for over a decade, tracking their sugar habits and heart health. They wanted to see how different kinds of sugar, like the stuff in pastries versus sugary drinks, impact your risk of things like strokes and heart attacks. And Jorie, maybe you know this, maybe Marty you do, but here's what they found. Sugary drinks like soda and energy drinks are the worst offenders when it comes to heart health. Why? Because liquid sugar doesn't fill you up, which we know, so you keep consuming more without even realizing it. And Johnny and I talked just a couple weeks ago when I showed a video of a fellow who had an Instagram page there who showed how much sugar is actually in a Coke can. And when you look at the bag of physical sugar, it really blows you away when you're like, oh my God, I just drank all that, right? And this isn't just a casual problem. It's linked to serious issues like strokes and aneurysms. But here's the twist, which I found fascinating. Cutting out all sugar completely, that's not the answer either. The study showed that humans who completely avoided treats were actually at higher risk of cardiovascular problems than those who enjoyed a little sugar now and then. Now, it seems crazy, right? But the researchers think that this might be because guys who cut out sugar entirely could already have heart issues. Or maybe they're following diets so strict that it's doing more harm than good. So the study suggests that the occasional slice of cake or cookie is fine. It's better to have that instead of constantly chasing sugary drinks. So Jorie, just putting it out there, the study essentially is saying that don't drink the sugary drinks. But if you want to go for a crumble cookie every now and then,
let's go.
That's better than just drinking any sugary drinks.
I'm there.
Jorie, thoughts about this study?
Yeah, I guess I would have to look at it because, with research, with any research, there's no perfect study. But I would love to see how they managed, the control group in terms of what they consumed and things like that. But overall, just looking like overall conversation, liquid sugar it's just too easy, right? It's like I always look at people when and it's not judgmental, it's because of my own issue. When people drink like 2-5 alcoholic beverages in an evening, I don't understand it because I'm just trying to drink my fluid in a day. So I don't get it, right? So I'm like, how can you just like drink tons of alcohol, but yet you can't drink your water? So, because that's a challenge. You get busy in your day and wow, I haven't had. So it's the same thing with the sugary drinks or anything. It's, if that's all you're consuming, that's like super spikes constantly, right? You're getting super highs and super lows and crashes because you're generally not saying, I'm going to have this sugary beverage and I'm going to have, my omega-3s and my protein at the same time. It's usually the sugary drink also goes with that Big Mac or whatever, right? I don't want to single out a single restaurant.
But it's true. They complement each other for the most part. Yeah.
So usually that's how it goes. And so I would look at like everything all together. And I love the 80-20% rule if people understand what 80-20% means. Because I look at some of my family members and every time I see them, they're having something. But every time they say, I don't do this all the time. And what they mean is that specific food versus the category that they're consuming. So I'd look at the overall category. So maybe you're not having cheesecake every day, but what else is in that category that is adding up to intake? So if it's sugary drinks, then that's a huge one. Liquids, it's easy to consume liquid calories because we don't think about it.
Well, I really believe that's the point of the study in the article, is that it's so easy to consume those liquid drinks and those liquid calories. Yeah. A lot more effort to go in and crush the cheesecake and the cake. And I think there's a psychological thing that like, okay, I'm constantly eating, yet if I'm constantly just sipping something, it's like, oh yeah, I'm just sipping a drink. Yeah, but you're actually, if you turn that liquid into a solid, it's sugar you're actually drinking.
Yeah, absolutely. You can get the sugar cubes and count them out, right?
Yes.
Like eight sugar cubes, and I always say like slurp that through a straw. Like that's gross. You think that's
Yes.
gross.
Yes.
But we're okay with it in liquid form, or taking, how many tablespoons of syrup. Like that's the same thing as a sugary drink. And most of us are not taking tablespoons of syrup, that because also that would be kind of cringy. So it's the same thing. It's just being mindful and looking at it. Can you have a sugary drink? For sure. Could you reduce that to a treat option versus part of your routine? Then yes. And it might start with I think you guys were talking about like starting with, a short-term strategy.
Yeah.
I'm not running the marathon, or thinking that you can run the marathon on day one. So for some people, it might not be, I'm not having sugary drinks ever again. It's create a habit. First thing in the morning, you're going to have 500 mils of water. Then go to if it's a coffee thing, whatever. Then at lunch, it's going to be your water. And then afternoon, do you need that sugary drink, or can you go to some more water, right? So it's more of setting up those habits and routines, so that way it's easier to create that lifestyle versus just a crash trend.
Well, and for me, before we wrap it up here, Jorie, I'm of the opinion that we know there's, I guess one's not better than the other, but there are alternatives to sugar if you want to sweeten your drink.
There are, yeah, and they can be better in managing blood sugars, getting a little bit of that sweetness.
Yeah.
Again, they'll be, maybe that's, if you think of Atomic Habits, right? It's
Yes.
creating those
Yes.
little changes. So it might be using that, other artificial or considered more natural type of sugar, and eventually use less of it. And I used to drink coffee with milk and sugar all the time growing up. And I went down to like a little bit of sugar and milk, and then I can drink it black and put a little bit of cinnamon in there, and that's a treat. But yet that's more beneficial. So it's figuring out, okay, what are your challenges with those sugary beverages, and what's one habit you can start to implement this week, next week, what's the next, and then eventually you've created the change that's going to lead to better heart health, decreased stroke risk, all of those sort of things.
That's the reason, Jorie, when I started with coffee, I went to coffee, just a black coffee right away, because I knew that if I started with sugar, because I've had sugar in coffee before, I'm like, oh, that's really good. That I was like, I couldn't start that habit. So when I started drinking coffee, it was black right off the bat. And I added no sugar, added no milk, because that was a habit I was not wanting to chase.
Yeah, I love sweets. Like I say that almost all the time.
Yes.
But now when I have coffee and there's like sugar put into it, it actually tastes worse than an artificial sweetener to me.
Interesting.
It tastes like poison. Like it does. I'm like, who would drink poison coffee? And it's not a judgment. It's actually my taste buds have changed for that. And I much prefer a nice, good quality cup of coffee than putting something like sugar into my coffee, because it just ruins it now. But it wasn't always like that. It wasn't always like that.
Yeah. Awesome. Hey, you're hanging out with Keith, Jorie, and Marty here in the Morning Lab with Keith and friends. We're coming to the second hour here. We're going to get Jorie out of here. Jorie, what do you got going on here today there, kid? You're back in Winnipeg for the week. You're not traveling. You're just back to normal life.
Back to normal life, whatever normal is for all of us, right? Back to normal life.
Yes.
Working just to catch up on things that I may have missed. I have a new boss starting up in a week, so I just want to make sure everything's good for them to come in. So pretty excited for that. But yeah, otherwise pretty much back to normal.
Good. Johnny's stuck with some internet issues, so we'll have Johnny back here on Wednesday. But I got a text from last night that he's off a little. He has a celebration of life experience happening. As we know, he had a death a few months ago, so that he's on that journey. But I got a text last night saying, "Hey Keith, some of these little motels I'm staying in do not have the best internet, so I will not be around tomorrow." I'm like, all right, not a big deal. So,
and just for all of you to know, on our volleyball trip, I prepared some options that I shared with some of the other parents and team. I brought my energy bites, my protein bites. We brought fruit, and we made a stop off at the grocery store that was close to the hotel. So it was a lesson learned. All the parents were like, Jorie, will you now do something with our team? Because I've always been a little standoffish because I'm part of the team with my daughter there. So I'm very careful with that. But before myself and another parent arrived, some of the athletes went out earlier, and they had this big meal, and they only had an hour and a half to digest before playing their game that night. And they were not feeling great.
Yeah.
right? Like they just thought they could just have their typical fun trip food. And
Ooh.
both the parents
Yeah.
and the other 13 and 14-year-olds realized that did not go well for them for their first game that evening. So I didn't have to do any sort of preaching.
You gotta learn
I
somehow.
told you,
Let them learn.
it's the 4210R rule. 4 hours out, nice big meal. 2 hours out, lighter snack. 1 hour out, it's quick top up. 0 is in play, hydration, energizers. R's let's recover. So I said 4210R, and you'll be okay. So other than that, it's at your own risk.
That's great learning. That just reminds me of experience where Carter and his hockey team a couple years back were traveling, and they stopped to eat some crappy fast food along the way. And Marty, the results of their hockey game that next afternoon were crappy as well. And it just shows you that, what we learned growing up, Marty and Jorie, is just not the same as it is today, right? It's just because we know so much more today, right? Like there's no need to go to the Subway or to the shitty restaurant. Like there's so many good choices for our kids. Yeah. That's fun.
I look back when I played, man.
I know
my coaches. I remember we didn't have breakfast one morning. Our coaches went to like 7-Eleven and got candy bars.
Yes.
Now that I'm an adult and in the fitness and nutrition world, oh my God, that's terrible.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
That's what I mean. Like to hear Jorie tell this story, it's surprising yet not surprising. But what I like about it was the learning that came out of it, right, Jorie? Because you could have said all you wanted. You could have preached and said, but they actually had to experience that themselves. Eat a crappy meal, perform crappy. This is why 1 and 1 didn't add up to 2.
Absolutely, because we already know travel creates a certain level of fatigue.
Yes.
So I said, make sure within every hour of travel, it was a 6-hour drive.
Yes.
At least 1 cup of fluid. Will you have to stop? Probably. But if you want to prevent that jet lag feeling and be the best. Right? But, often, we do need to learn, experience things ourselves, and that creates the change, right? So no judgment, just, I'm here to support.
Yes.
Yeah, real quickly, it just reminded me in college, we would have like 3-a-day, 4-a-day workouts. And I was tired one day, so I took a nap and ended up oversleeping, so I couldn't get like my actual meal in before my last workout. I was like, all right, I'm going to just grab pizza real quick.
Yeah. Yeah.
Worst workout of my life.
Yeah.
So
and it's just how our body works. Our body is working so hard to support it. So all that blood flow is going to the gut to figure out how to digest and how to get, usable energy to us. But that's a lot of energy where we need blood flow to our working muscles so we can actually have that effort. So we're not honoring our body. And now our body's like, okay, I'm going to work so hard for you, but you know what? I'm kind of out. I'm done. I'm exhausted.
Well, so the moment, so the kids are traveling, it's exciting because we're traveling. Out of routine, it's exciting. Yeah. But then when the reality, we're traveling because we have a game to win. We're traveling because we have a championship to win. Well, if we're not putting all the steps into the routine, the results aren't going to be there. And what a fascinating learning situation you guys went through.
It was fun. It was fun. There was no judgment at all. It was just a great learning opportunity, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. Well, then that's what I enjoy about that, which is really great. So, all right, Jorie, listen, we're going to walk you out of here. I know Marty's going to walk out as well here. I appreciate the two of you. Jorie, you enjoy your day today? Good to have you back.
Same with both of you. We always talk about me, and then we always miss the opportunity for all of you. So we got to get into that rhythm because
we will.
Your days are super important and interesting to me. So
I'll tell you, I got a big one today. So Carter's got his Carter's team is playing in game 2. They went on to Brandon on Saturday, and Marty they won. So they won their game on Saturday, and they are hitting game 2 of. So Jorie, they're in the championships now, the U18 hockey. So they're playing at the Iceplex tonight. They're the best of 5. They're 1 game up. Marty Carter and I had a hard chat yesterday. I said to Carter, you're in the biggest. It was very much like my accountability check-in. Is that I don't want you to be accepting mediocrity right now, because you're going to wake up one day in 6 months from now, or a year from now, or 2 years from now, when this is all done, and you might have some regret if you're not thinking about, if I could have won a little bit harder, if I could have did a little bit this, because these moments go by so fast, they're done, and you sometimes forget about it. right?
Yep.
So I've really been encouraging him to really try to find that other gear. But yeah, and Piper has Terpscore, her big dance competition today. So I got a busy week of being a dad. Actually, it's going to be a lot of fun this week. So it's good. It's good.
Dance is awesome. The parents that are there, that's also a great learning opportunity.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Well, Marty, Piper's got her solo today. So Piper's up on stage all by herself doing her own solo. So I'm pretty proud of that.
That's big. I know that's exciting.
That is big, man. That takes nerves and balls and whatever you want to call it. Kid, you go, man. That's awesome. I love that.
Yeah, no, it that is challenging. And also I've seen the impact of making sure the dancers, because there's quick changeovers.
Yes.
Like making sure that they're hydrating and fueling. It's a different strategy because you don't have that much time.
I know.
If you have an hour, it's really 10 minutes because you got to change wardrobe and hair.
Yes.
And so it's really just grazing that whole week.
It's a whole thing. It's a whole different thing. It's quite fascinating to me, actually.
Yeah. They might be eating 11, 12 times a day.
Yes.
Yeah. It's just different for sure. So good luck to her.
Thank you. All right, Jorie. Well, listen, you enjoy your day. We'll look forward to catching up throughout the week. Marty, you have a good one today as well, brother.
You too. I'll see
y'all.
y'all.
We'll find out your story next time.
Yeah.
That works.
All right.
Awesome. All right, guys. All right, Marty. All right, Jorie. All right, guys. We'll see you later, okay?
All right, y'all. Yep.
All right. You guys are getting out of here. Marty and Jorie. Jimmy, we're resetting. We're going to reset here for the second hour. We're going to get into our community corner, the Creator Spotlight. Mornings at the Line with Keith and friends. We're here on the Monday of the Loop here. We're getting after it. Johnny's out fixing his internet in his travels. We're going to reset the show here and work towards wrapping it up. Guys, we kicked off the discussion today. We talked about men going under the needle. Yep, inside the world of penile fillers. Marty and I postulated on life must be that bad if you need to go down there and get the needle in the junk, not for the vasectomy, but to get the thickness. Apparently true story. Yep. Apparently a true story. We talked about how leaded gasoline is killing a bunch of us Gen Xers, causing a bunch of psychiatric issues because I guess we just sniffed too much leaded gasoline along the way. We also got into Mark Cuban's simple morning routine. The guy gets up 6:37. First thing he does is answer his email. It's funny because we talk about it all the time saying, leave your phone outside, get your non-negotiables done. Cuban's like, no, my non-negotiable is getting my email done right off the bat. And the guys, we got into we also talked about Jeff Bezos' secret to discovering your strengths, those secret superpowers that we think we have, or how do we discover them along the way. I talked about my discovery of empathy in my journey of life. Didn't know what that was for the longest time. I had to figure that out. And the guys, we got into how I broke out of my comfort zone. Martin and I talked about breaking free from comfort zones. You know, we wake up, we go through life, we get into habits, and along the way, we tend to and often accept mediocrity. How do we get out of mediocrity? How do we push ourselves past mediocrity? How do we get to a place of a higher level of performance? We talked about moving ourselves and pushing ourselves out of the comfort zone and leaving mediocrity. And with Jorie, we talked about sugary drinks and the power of not drinking them all the time, guys. Just consuming sugar through the liquid is killing us, and why we might be better off having a donut or having a cookie instead of constantly crushing the sugary drinks along the way. And then as we talked about breaking free from comfort zones, I also found a story here about a fellow named Hunter Hughes, who was 33, who was 330 pounds and dropped 185 pounds in his journey by starting small and thinking big along the way. And he did it because he needed to break free from his comfort zone of mediocrity by just being a large and in charge man. He's like, I'm done with this. How did he start? Somebody said, why don't you come to the gym with us? No pressure and no guilt trip, all grace. And he didn't go on the first day. He didn't even go the first afternoon. It took him a couple days, but then a couple days later, he showed up. And when he did, he didn't jump into a marathon. He didn't jump into a bodybuilding competition. He started with simple bodyweight exercises and simple 45-minute walks and simply watching his food intake. And over time, he started performing. So guys, there's always a way to break free from your comfort zone and get after it. Okay. I think, Jimmy, we're going to get to one more topic here this morning. And before we get into our last segment of the show, which is Community Corner, the Creator Spotlight, which is this one here, Strong and Defined at 35, the Ultimate Core Workout Guide. Guys, you're over 35. You're tuning in right now. I got something for you. Are you over 35 and finding it harder to maintain a toned, defined core? Well, listen, you're not alone. Today, I want to reveal 5 of the most effective core exercises specifically designed for people over 35. Now, these exercises are going to help you achieve that sought-after six-pack without putting unnecessary strain on your body. But guys, let me remind you of this. Listen, and I laugh with this all the time. Do sit-ups, do this, get your six-pack. The six-pack is born in the kitchen. It's born through your food. What we're talking about here is having a strong core. Don't get them mixed up. Having a strong core isn't just about aesthetics. Having a strong core doesn't guarantee the 6, the 8, the 12 pack. The 6, the 8, the 12 pack comes from the gym. The strong core, comes from the kitchen. The strong core comes from the gym. And having a strong core dramatically improves posture, reduces the risk of injury, and boosts your overall strength and stability, especially men as we age. Targeted core exercises become essential to maintaining vitality and a high quality of life. And guys, the research emphasizes that as we age, it's crucial to focus on functional exercises that engage multiple core muscles simultaneously. Don't just head to the gym and do bicep curls. Don't just head to the gym and do tricep curls. Don't just head to the gym and do bench press. You want to focus on the full body. Let's dive into 5 core workouts that experts like John and Marty would recommend for those of you that are over 35, or hell, over 25, over 30, over 50. But the reality is we're going to lean into this right now. Do the dead bug. Yes, guys. Have you heard of the dead bug? You're going to lie on your back with legs in a tabletop position and arms extended towards the ceiling. You're slowly going to lower one arm and the opposite leg towards the floor while keeping your core engaged. You're going to return to the starting position and repeat on the other side. Guys, dead bug's a great move. Not difficult at all, but gives a lot of benefit. We move from the dead bug to the bird dog. To do this, you're going to start on all fours. So move from your back to all fours with a neutral spine. Extend your right arm and your left leg simultaneously, keeping your hips and your shoulders square. So think about it, guys. Right arm, left leg goes out. Keep yourself straight and strong. You're going to hold it briefly, then return to the starting position and switch sides. So move from the dead bug to the bird dog. And then, guys, here's another one. Number 3, plank with shoulder taps. I do planks and shoulder taps all the time. You're going to begin in a high plank position with feet slightly wider than shoulder width. Guys, what's a plank? A plank is a push-up without going down. Get out there, put your arms down, get your legs out, turn your right hand to your left shoulder, then switch sides. You're literally going to go tap, 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 tap. Planks with shoulder taps are awesome for your core. Here's another one, guys, the Russian twist. Jimmy, sit on the floor, knees bent, lean back slightly, and lift your feet off the ground. Hold the weight, clasp your hands together, and twist your torso side to side. Or just go back on YouTube and look at some old Jean-Claude Van Damme videos. The guy did Russian twist left and right. And then, guys, number 5, pulse-ups. Lie flat on your back with legs extended towards the ceiling. Lift your hips up off the ground in a continuous motion, engaging your lower abs. That will help you with your core, right? So 2 tips for integrating these exercises: consistency over intensity. Guys, don't worry about the intensity of these. Worry about the consistency of them. I'll invite you to consider this. If you're focusing on your core, focus on touching your toes. Stand over your toes every single day for a minute. Think about doing that over and over and over. You're going to get much better at touching your toes. It's the same thing with your core. And guys, form over speed. Prioritize slow, controlled movements to fully engage your core and prevent injuries. So guys, I invite you to think about this. Think about your current fitness routine. Are you adequately prioritizing core strength? If not, why not? What's one change? Just one. I know there's two or there's three, but when we put too much up there, we fail at the other ones. So what's one change you can make today to strengthen your core safely and effectively? And Amy, you're right. Love the dead bug, the dead bug. Bah! Love the dead bug and the dead bird dog. You can't do these too often. Either no risk of injury, just strength building. I agree. I love the dead bug. I love the dead bug and the bird dog. I'm a big fan of them. And planks with sliders, good one as well. Another great piece of advice from Amy. Do a plank with a slider, you guys. How to do a plank with a slider? Find yourself a floor where you can slide on. Get a sock. Get a towel. Something where you can slide. Put it on your feet or on your hands and do some sliding. And that's another great way to effectively work your core. So, guys, listen. Get your core work done today. Age is just a number. With the right exercises and mindset, you will feel stronger. You'll look better. You commit to it. You're going to build that stronger core. And we always talk about functional movements. That stronger core is going to help you get up the mountain when you're doing some tobogganing with your kids or lifting your grandchildren up when you want to do some fun with your kids as you get older. Guys, what's your core exercise? What's your go-to core exercise? We'd love to hear all about it here in the comments. Okay, well, listen, Jimmy. I always say, Jim, we're doing a 60 to 75 minute show, and we always end up at 90. That's how it always goes, it seems like. All right, let's finish off our community corner, the creator spotlight. Mornings in the lab with Keith and friends here. The next one we got is coming out of Substack, you guys. You know where we like to go. We like to spend our time on the Substack platform as well. You want the truth? I know you want the truth, or else you wouldn't be hanging out with me. Most self-help content, just most self-help content's bullshit. It's true. It's just a bunch of BS. It's a bunch of snake oil. Empty promises, repackaged advice, hype with no substance. But what if someone showed you what really matters by embracing the failures that everyone else is too afraid to talk about? Because listen, I know we've all been there. Grappling with failure, feeling like you missed your shot, you screw up, you fall down, and it feels like everyone else is miles ahead. Most people try to cover it up or pretend like they've got it all figured out. But the real power, it's in learning from the wreckage, you guys. It's accepting all of that. It's in building something better from the mess that's come around you. Well, today, here's a guy who's not selling you a silver bullet solution or pretending like he's cracked the code of success. Instead, this guy's digging through the rubble of real life, the pain, the failure, the loss, and he's turning it into lessons you can actually lose. This guy we're celebrating you today, he's been knocked down more times than he can count. Really? More than me? Started businesses that crumbled, navigated his daughter's battle with cancer. Oh my goodness. And he's not afraid to talk about what actually matters. How to turn failure into resilience. How to build a life that's stronger, wiser, and more powerful. Nation, I invite you to meet Michael Ritoke, the voice behind The Art of Becoming. Yes, a newsletter dedicated to showing you how to transform pain into progress, failure into wisdom, and setbacks into the stepping stones you actually need. If you're ready for real conversations, no fluff, no hype, just honest writing from someone who's been in the trenches, I invite you. Hit subscribe to The Art of Becoming. Michael's not here to sell you success, baby. No way. He's here to show you how to build it yourself, one hard lesson learned at a time. So, Michael, here's how it works, my friend. We want to have you on the show. We'd love to celebrate you further and celebrate somebody in your orbit. I believe there's somebody who you think is doing great work. So, Michael, come on to our show. We're going to hand you the Mornings in the Lab Creator Spotlight light so you can shine the light on somebody in your world and we can celebrate somebody in this moment of paying it forward on the Mornings in the Lab with Keith and Friends Creator Spotlight. It's part of the Community Corner. There we go. Woo! Jimmy, we did it. Another one in the books here today. It's funny. I know when the house is moving because my door opens up and my dog comes down. Lola's like, hey, Dad, you're still here? I'm like, yeah, I'm still here. She's like, I got to go inside. I'm like, I know. I'll get you out there in just a second. All right, guys, wrap it up here. Another one in the books. Another big old morning show in the books. What do we got tomorrow, Jimmy? Tomorrow we are going to get after it with, let's see here. I stopped chasing success. 3 changes that made me happier immediately. Woo, Jimmy's on the ball here. My browser's not refreshing, so it's good that you had it ready for me. I stopped chasing success. 3 changes that made me happier immediately. We're going to talk about that tomorrow on Mornings Live with Keith and Friends. 8 o'clock Eastern time, right here on the big YouTube channel, right over there on the LinkedIn channel, right over there on the X channel. And then all the chopped up content all over the planet across all the social platforms, Substack, X, Threads, Instagram, everywhere you'll find us. But for now, I'm going to get out of here. Yep, there she is. There's my little puppy. There's Lola popping in here. She's like, hey, you're still here? I'm still here. So listen, on behalf of myself, C. Marty Fit, a.k.a. the Boy Wonder, Christopher Martin, and of course, Jorie Jensen, and all the wonderful guests, Amy Reinhardt, the Obscure Ninja, Adam Holroyd, Noah. I appreciate you guys showing up this morning. On behalf of everybody here this morning, we're going to get out of here. Yep, we are. There's the sound. There's the sound that brings us out. Brings us out. Brings us in. Brings us in. Brings us out. I'm your host, I'm Keith Bilous. We'll see you guys tomorrow right here at 8 o'clock Eastern time. We're getting out of here. I'm going down the stairs, Jimmy, one more time. If I fell, would it happen quicker like this?